The most important, most meaningful part of my life is being a parent. It's my mission in life to keep my kids safe, healthy, and happy. And today we're going to give you the information you need to do the same for yours. I'm Erica Vitrini, and welcome to a very special edition of Access Health. In a recent study published by the Journal of the American Dietetic Association, we learned that our kids are consuming a quarter of their daily vegetable requirement, not in the form of nutritious, delicious carrots, oh no, in the form of French fries. Now, as a mom, I am very familiar with the notorious picky eaters. They are a finicky bunch. And moms, we also have to be careful what we eat, because studies also show that children learn their early eating habits from their mom, good or bad. No pressure there. So how do we make sure we set our children on a healthy nutritional journey? I'm here in Fremont, Michigan, home of Gerber baby food. The year was 1927. Dorothy Gerber had no idea she was setting the stage for her own legacy while straining peas for her 7-month-old daughter. The Gerber brand was born from a mother's resourcefulness and desire to provide her babies with homegrown nutrition. Gerber joined the Nestle family in 2007, forming a powerhouse of research, knowledge, and expertise to continue leading the way in early childhood nutrition. I'm meeting with Dr. Ryan Carvalho, Medical Director for Nestle Infant Nutrition. Hi, Doctor.
Hi, Erica. Welcome to Gerber's Nutrition Kitchen.
Well, thank you for having me. Very cool. I'm so excited to talk to you. Got so many questions. I'm passionate, maybe mildly obsessed with my family's health and nutrition, and of course in educating other families on nutrition. So let's start from the beginning. Gerber and Nestle both have a long history and foundation in the food and beverage industry. How do they come together and pool their resources?
The amalgamation of these two gives us this unique opportunity to meet our commitment on nourishing a healthier generation of children by focusing on the period from pregnancy to the first 2 years of life, often referred to as the first 1,000 days. During these 1,000 days, infants go from learning to crawl, to stand, to walk, vocalizing, learning new words, and then talking. And what's also important is that they're learning new developmental milestones as it relates to feeding, like chewing and swallowing. And this is why this first 1,000 days is unique, and the role of nutrition is very important during this period.
Is there any research that supports the importance of childhood nutrition?
Back in 2002, Gerber commissioned the Feeding Infant and Toddler Study, very commonly called FITS, where they looked to see what infants, toddlers, and preschoolers were actually eating. And we learned a lot of information about how much of their diet consists of grains, fruits, vegetables, meats, milk, sweets, and fats. What we learned was that fruits and vegetables are not consumed as much as they need to be consumed.
Yep.
When you look across the population, dietary patterns are set very early in life, which tells us that what you feed your child early in life can be critical to their feeding behaviors later in life.
So this goes back to the first 1,000 days.
That's absolutely right.
It really is that important. So then how does Gerber take this information from FITS and apply it to real solutions that parents can use?
So what we've done is we've taken all the learnings that we obtained from FITS, in addition to the clinical research that is being done, to develop a stage-based journey to meet the nutritional needs of infants, toddlers, and children at a developmentally appropriate way. So we feel very proud of the FITS study and the contribution that FITS and our clinical research has made to the community.
Well, Doctor, thank you so much for having me today. It was just wonderful information.
Our pleasure, Erica, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. And Access Health caught up with AAP to get their take on the issue.
It's never too early or too late for parents to be concerned about creating a healthy activity and nutrition environment for their children. So the American Academy of Pediatrics has recommendations that go all the way from birth to young adulthood to help parents figure this out.
Up next, I'm going to talk to Aileen Stocks of Gerber Infant Nutrition, and she's going to tell us how they're making sure that the same quality and love that Dorothy Gerber put into her baby food so many years ago continues today. Look at all these Gerber babies, so cute. There's so much history and memorabilia in this room, Aileen.
Yeah, there really is. And actually, this is one of my favorite shots.
Which one? This one right here?
Yeah, this one. This is the groundbreaking ceremony of this facility. So you can see Dan Gerber in the background. But why I love this shot is take a look at who's breaking ground.
All the moms and their kids.
Yeah, it's moms and babies. You know, it's a great reminder of why we do what we do.
It's what Gerber's all about.
Yeah, it's really all about the babies. And you can see through the rest of the room that we're pretty proud of our roots.
Oh, and speaking of roots, I spent some time at the Gerber farm today. Beautiful place. Do they supply all of the food for Gerber?
We do get a lot of our fruits and vegetables all locally. Michigan's got great fertile land, pretty diverse in their agriculture, so we get our apples, our peas, our green beans.
Your carrots.
Our carrots,
I knew
that's
that.
right. You know, in fact, we actually still buy from some of the same growers that Dan and Dorothy Gerber used to buy from.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Start Healthy, Stay Healthy system?
Sure. You know, FITS has really inspired the way we do innovation. The FITS study actually identified that for toddlers, they weren't getting enough vegetables. So we took a toddler favorite, mac and cheese. We took out some of the cheese and we added in some butternut squash.
Nice. It keeps the creamy consistency and it's full of nutrients.
Yeah, it's a great way to get more vegetables into the toddler's diet. Here's another great resource for parents. So if you take a look at all of our packaging, we've got these little milestone symbols.
Oh, this little icon here in the
little
corner.
icons that go from birth all the way to toddler. So it's an easy way for parents to see what's the right food I can serve my baby at this particular stage. All babies develop at different times, right? So rather than thinking at 6 months I have to serve this, we focus on different developmental milestones. For example, at Crawler, usually at this stage, babies are learning how to chew. So this is something that we launched this year. It's got puree, but it's got little pieces of fruits and vegetables in it, so it helps babies learn how to chew.
And so do you have any more educational information to help parents better understand this whole process?
Yeah, if you go to Gerber.com, we've got lots of nutritional resources. If you actually sign up for My Gerber, you can customize it. So it's based on the date of birth of your child, but it delivers the right information at the right time. We've got videos, we've got quizzes, we've got articles. You know, any way that you like to learn is what we've got, which is great. We also have tools. We've got things like the menu planner, where you can do healthy menus for the week. We get over 60,000 downloads of the menu planner a month.
What a fantastic resource. Aileen, thank you so much for all your information and helping us better understand that critical first 1,000 days of nutrition. For all the information we talked about today, as well as the resources we just discussed, you can log on to accesshealth.tv. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks to Gerber for helping us with our kids' nutritional journey. Busy parents everywhere can breathe a little easier. But what about children who can't breathe that easily? Those with chronic asthma or allergies? We can't always protect our kids against environmental triggers like pollen and dust and chemicals, so what can we do? Access Health correspondent Amber Milt went on location to find out.
Today, we're raising awareness about chronic asthma and the struggles many parents face in having to deal with this condition on a daily basis. Let's hear from a woman who knows about this condition all too well.
Personally, I've spent the last 15 years of my career actually in the space of allergy and asthma, and I'm also the mother of 5, 4 of whom have allergies and or asthma. So there are actually 7 million American children that currently have a diagnosis of asthma, and it's the most common chronic childhood condition as well as one of the costliest. On average, there are about 14 million missed school days each year attributed to asthma, and that of course inhibits those parents from also attending work.
I'm here in New York City, a hotbed of potential environmental asthma triggers at Allergy and Asthma Associates of Murray Hill, to meet with Dr. Purvi Parikh, who treats hundreds of little ones suffering from asthma and allergies each year. Dr. Parikh, can you give us an overview of the different types of childhood asthma and some of the traditional treatments?
Childhood asthma comes in many forms. The most common type in children is allergic asthma, whether it be dust or mold, pollen, cat, dog, sometimes even food can trigger it. Another very common type is a viral-induced asthma in children. So things such as the common cold or the flu or even some bacterial infections can trigger it. Also, children are predisposed to exercise-induced asthma. If the physical exertion is heavy enough, that can also trigger symptoms in them. And then things as subtle as weather changes or humidity can also get children into trouble with their asthma. Traditional treatments are inhalers and controller medicines. Usually they contain a steroid, but they may be a steroid plus another medication. When children are in more trouble, such as when they have a flare-up, they may need even heavier medications, such as prednisone by mouth or even IV steroids.
Meet Josephine Melendez and her 3.5-year-old daughter, Valerie. They've been seeing Dr. Purvi Parikh for 6 months now and aren't sure if the treatments are working.
We've been struggling for a very long time since she was born, 6 months, with asthma and chronic allergies. At first, I wasn't sure with Valerie's breathing that it was asthma or allergies. It's just that I had to literally keep a journal and actually write down every movement since Valerie was 6 months.
Well, I think that it's always important, first and foremost, to have a conversation with your physician about what's going on in your environment, about what you're seeing with the symptoms, how they may be changing over time. Keeping a diary of the symptoms and when they seem to be worse or better is very important so that you can have those informed, educated conversations with your clinician. And then once you have that, I think it's very important that you be tested to know exactly what your triggers are. We always say avoidance is the best treatment for asthma if you can avoid those triggers. But the truth is we don't live in a bubble. So there's no way to completely avoid the triggers. So it's a matter of how do you then also employ treatments like medications most effectively to manage the symptoms.
When you spray an inhaler in your mouth, part of it does get wasted. So you're not really getting the full dose. An average person using the best technique only gets 60% of their asthma medication with just the inhaler alone.
After I saw a specialist, she recommended a nebulizer machine that has a mask, and I have to control a toddler, a growing toddler, to stay with the mask for 15 minutes until the solution airs out or evaporates within her lungs. Now that was challenging within itself because of course, this is all new to Valerie, and she's like, what is this? What is going on? The machine is making noises. It was very time consuming, with a regular growing toddler. She has to go to school, I have to go to work. It's just definitely not an option for me.
Now, another type of traditional medication is a nebulizer machine, which does help a little bit more because the steam kind of helps the patient get the medicine in their lungs, but this is not very time efficient. So often a nebulizer treatment can take up to 10 minutes, and generally our medicines need to be used at least twice a day. So as you can see, it can really eat into time, and it can also be difficult in young children to have them sit still for that long. A machine can be scary for them.
If you're trying to give a toddler a nebulizer treatment and use that mask, it's intimidating. It's scary for children.
I went back to Dr. Parikh and I told her what was my issues, what was my concerns, especially since I wasn't feeling like she was getting all her entire dosage. So she had recommended using an actual pump that came with like a child chamber.
The chamber helps increase lung deposition. So that means more than 60% of the medication is actually reaching where it needs to go, especially into your smaller airways. The mask, it's very soft, it's non-irritating to their face. The nice aspect for babies is that there's even a slot for a pacifier. This is so nice that you can even use it when the child is sleeping. So that way the parent doesn't have to worry about the child being scared or fighting them off to even get the medication inside.
Using this chamber, it helps a lot, and I see the results. And Valerie, I would have to say, has gotten used to the whole chamber and the pump. She actually likes it. She reminds me now. I'm very pleased with that.
So now with the Inspire chamber, it really is a much more user-friendly product that allows families to administer the medication without that fear.
So it gives me peace of mind that the medication that I've prescribed is actually reaching where it needs to go, because then I can't make decisions on whether or not this is the right medication if I don't know if the child is actually receiving it or not.
At Allergy and Asthma Network, we're very excited about new technologies, especially technologies that help families to have a quality of life that they wouldn't have otherwise. The network really focuses on how we can better raise awareness of the conditions of allergy and asthma, but also educate patients and families. Our magazine, Allergy and Asthma Today, is a great resource for patient-friendly, medically accurate information. Also our website, allergyasthmanetwork.org. So we take medically accurate information and bring it down to a very patient-friendly basis. It really is about feeling empowered and not limiting your child's activity because of asthma. Because the truth is, if a child's on the right medication and they're well controlled, they should have no limitations to playing outside or playing a sport, swimming, doing everything every other child would like to do without asthma.
Now, if your child has asthma, I want to share these important resources with you once again. That's inspirechamber.com and allergyasthmanetwork.com. And of course, you can always find more information, including these resources, by logging on to our website at accesshealth.tv. And don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks, Amber, for all that great information and advice. Next up, we've got wild-caught albacore tuna straight from the sea to your tabletop. Don't let this little can fool you. It's packed with nutrients and flavor. Janet Zapala is on location in Canada to give us the scoop.
Now, you've read all the great information about how important omegas and essential fatty acids are to our overall good health. This is the St. Jean's Cannery and Smokehouse on Vancouver Island, Canada. It's home to one of the most sustainable providers of wildly caught tuna and other omega-rich fish in all of North America. And I'm here now with Kim Stockburn. She is the longtime brand manager of the Raincoast Trading Company. And I have to say, so many of us are under the impression that salmon has a lot more omega-3s than tuna.
Conventional canned tunas are twice cooked. We use a single cook method. So with this single cooked method, we're putting the fillet of tuna into the can. It's cooked once. All those natural oils and nutrients are kept in the can.
You're all about sustainability.
And Raincoast Tuna, we have a hook and line catch method in the Pacific Northwest. So we're catching all of our tuna one at a time, really. 12 barbless, baitless hooks off the back of a boat. They're brought in one at a time. All that care and attention that's paid to the fish makes a higher quality product.
Consumers need to be really aware of the importance of sustainability.
There was a recent study that said by 2048, if nothing changes, we could have a worldwide fisheries collapse, with the only thing left in the water being jellyfish and plankton. We need consumers to buy sustainably caught seafood.
And it's great to know that you have been recognized as a company for doing your part.
We were the first retail packaged seafood company endorsed by the Ocean Wise Conservation Group. And we're very proud that we were the #1 ranked sustainable canned tuna by Greenpeace.
And it happens here at St. Jean's Cannery, which, by the way, is family owned and has been in business for over 50 years. I'm here with the man, really, Gerard St. Jean, whose family has owned the St. Jean Cannery and Smokehouse since 1961. That's tradition.
Welcome to our store.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is it true that Raincoast tuna has 6 times the amount of omegas compared to a conventional tin of tuna?
Absolutely.
All right, so how do you do it? What's the secret?
We take the tuna, we cut it raw, we put it in the can raw, and then we cook it. All the natural oils, omegas, everything goes into the can.
And this code, you've got these numbers on the bottom of the can. I know they mean something.
Well, this is our traceability code. We can tell where this can of tuna came from, which boat, which area, which trip date.
And this is who?
This is Lucy.
This is Lucy.
It's Lucy.
Meet Lucy. And how do you know this is Lucy?
Because we know what boat you came in on.
So it's that traceability factor.
Totally.
Yeah, so it's 100% traceability from boat to can. So we know exactly where the fish was caught, how it was caught, who the skipper of the boat was, and where it's been every single place till it gets to the cannery.
And what does that mean to the consumer?
That means that they know they're getting a sustainable fish. They know that they're getting what it says on the package, so that we can prove all of the statements that we make on our labels.
That really makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It makes a big difference.
Yeah. Wow, Kim, you have a lot of options here, not just tuna.
We do. We have our salmon, so we have pink salmon, sockeye salmon. We have our sardines, smoked oysters, marinades and dipping sauces, and then, of course, our albacore tuna.
And if you look at the ingredients, there's no oils, there's no water.
It's just albacore tuna and sea salt. Why don't we go and try some? So we've opened some conventional canned tunas as well as a Raincoast canned tuna. Can you tell the difference between the ones packed in oil and water?
It's pretty obvious. They're all swimming in water.
Yes.
And yours is not.
All that's in there is the tuna's own natural oils.
All right. Can we get your product in the U.S.?
You can get it at Walmarts right across the U.S.
And in most health and natural food stores.
You can also get it online, too.
Right, Amazon.com and other online retailers.
Great.
Too.
And if you'd like more information, you can always log on to their website, raincoasttrading.com. And if you'd like more information on omega-3s and essential fatty acids, go to our website, accesshealth.tv. Cheers.
Now, I've got something for moms out there. It's a delicious and nutritious tuna niçoise salad without the mayo. Instead, we're using another secret ingredient, this can of tuna. So all you'll do to make this salad is simply open the can, like that. See how it's whole? Add a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sea salt. Perfect. You want to break that up, and all you have to do is add it to your salad just before you're ready to go. Voila, done.